Imagine facing a Bronze Age superpower on their own terms. The kings of the North fielded an army of thousands, equipped with high-tech armor, trained war horses, and hundreds of chariots. Despite being outmatched in technology and numbers, Joshua's forces didn't just survive the encounter, they completely routed the coalition. But the most unusual part of the victory happened after the fighting stopped. Joshua ordered his troops to hamstring every captured horse and set the wooden chariots ablaze. God explicitly commanded this to ensure the Israelites never integrated these weapons into their own ranks. Their military security was to rely on divine power, not on captured technology. By destroying the era's ultimate weapons, the Israelites signaled that their victory was the result of a higher intervention rather than their own human might. At the end of these campaigns, the book of Joshua makes a sweeping claim that God gave Israel rest on every side and that not one of his good promises failed. This provides a picture of total conquest, a map where the promise of a land has been completely realized. Yet the very next book, Judges, describes a different world. It lists vast, heavily fortified territories deep within those borders that the Israelites failed to take. How can a divine promise be 100% fulfilled if the physical occupation of that same land remains broken and incomplete? The answer lies in the distinction between the territory God cleared and the land the Israelites actually stepped forward to claim. The original promise in Joshua chapter 1 came with a specific mechanical condition. God told Joshua that he would give them every portion of the land where they set their feet. The claim had to be activated by a physical act of faith. God fulfilled his portion of the work by dismantling the macro-level threats. By shattering the Northern Coalition, he removed power structures blocking survival. This established rest, where no unified enemy could systematically threaten the nation as a whole. God unlocked the doors and cleared the halls, but the individual tribes were still responsible for walking into the rooms. After the major wars ended, the responsibility for the land shifted from Joshua's national army to the individual tribes. Joshua's leadership was defined by momentum, but the tribes often fell into a state of local apathy once they had to clear their own backyards. The failures detailed in the book of Judges were a breakdown of human faith. The divine provision was there, but the tribes stopped acting on it. They became intimidated by local resistance and chose comfortable inaction over the effort required to complete the conquest. The unfinished map of Judges resulted from a refusal to step into the space God had already cleared. To understand the history of Israel, we have to distinguish between achieved rest and possession. Rest is the macro-level victory, where God breaks the power of the enemy. Possession is the micro-level occupation that requires continuous human action and the willingness to take hold of what has been offered. The data shows a significant gap. God's provision of rest is complete, but the human possession of the land stalls out early. A divine gift can be perfectly provided, while the actual experience of that gift remains limited by the person receiving it. Joshua 21 accurately records God's perfect provision, while Judges records Israel's failure to fully inhabit it. This unresolved gap in the map has long-term consequences for how we understand the ancient promises. It challenges the view that the land promises to Abraham were fully and finally completed in Joshua's day. Because God's promises do not fail, the existence of land that was granted but never occupied requires a future fulfillment. The unpossessed territories act as a permanent marker, pointing to an era where Israel's descendants will inhabit the full extent of their inheritance. The unfinished map stands as a guarantee that the gift is still waiting and that a day of complete possession is still to come.